Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're getting refreshed after the lunch instead of getting sleepy. And I'm here today will presenting as you can read on the screen. So what is the topic on the screen? Are you having difficulties in reading this? Can you read this? What is the topic for today? It's called mainstreaming digital accessibility in Indonesia. Can you read that easily? Okay, you have to imagine. Okay, you're reading with your heart, and so yeah, this is the topic of the day. And I think if you had a hard difficulty in reading this, do you have any disability? Are you sure? You cannot reading this. Are you sure you're not having any disability? Okay, good questions. So yeah, um, actually, in terms of accessibility, there are three definitions of disability: permanent disability, situational disability, and temporary disability. What happened right now is actually you experiencing situational disability. You are able-bodied, nothing wrong with your body, but the situation and the environment making you unable to read. And this is called contrast. Color contrast is one of the part of digital accessibility, and it's easy. And you don't have any disability, right? But the good accessibility implementation is definitely affecting even non-disability. So actually, that is one point I want to highlight. So this is the writing. Clear, right? So color contrast is supposed to be a common sense, right? So, but it's also part of digital accessibility. So okay. And the real is disability is not the question of if, but when and how. Some acquire their disability since they're born, sometimes some people later in life, but eventually, if you live long enough, you will acquire one. Either your eyes getting lesser, your hearing's getting lesser, or you're gonna use cane or like wheelchair. So it's a certainty. So it's everyone issue. It's not someone's issue. So, and in terms of Indonesia, the result is still work in progress. So we're also progressing. But what I want to share here is how we started and how it rolls so far. So mainstreaming, I will break it down from the title itself. So what is mainstreaming? Mainstreaming is basically collectiveness of awareness and actions. So if you don't have this collectiveness, well, it's exclusive. It's not mainstream, right? But to be in the collective awareness and actions, you have to have this trends, usually fear of missing out, or top down, like the reinforcement. But the problem with the trends is like temporary. So if it's not cool enough, well, people are not joining. And for the top down, Indonesia doesn't have the regulation yet. So how are we gonna mainstreaming if we don't have those two? And the way we're gonna approach this item is use transcendence. How gonna be? And the later is digital accessibility. If you don't know what is digital accessibility yet, so it's refers to how usable a website, an application, or basically digital content or experience can be accessed by anyone with any ability, including disability, whether they use assistive technology or not. And the essence is enable the community to search, find, access, explore independently. So I think I need to emphasize that independently because especially in Indonesia, the disability community perceived as people that need to be helped every time. So they have caregiver as such. So independentship is not a value in terms of we talk about disability. And they expect people to help each other because of its disabled populations. So because of this, the disability community usually just wait the information to coming instead of like reaching out or proactively. So there's a lot of time in terms of the waiting of something to happen. So in Indonesia, we have 26 million person with disability, and I think it's almost equals with the whole Australian populations. Yeah, I mean, it's like the whole Australian from the airport to the beach is disabled. So if you can imagine, and how to manage streaming in like 26 million, and we have almost 300 million population in total. So what we are going to do in terms of building this collective awareness and actions, we're targeting this to the producer, which is the platform creator. Is it a website, app, and digital content? So it can be a developer, it can be designer, it can be any people who create digital documents, basically, and also the public as the enabler. And we highlight that we need to address the mindset first before we do some of the actions. And in terms of this, the producer and the public, we target to non-disability. Because usually when we talk about disability empowerment, the target of the literacy and trainings, etc., is the community of disability, right? But the problem is, um, in terms of the social model disability, the one that make the community disabled actually those who non-disability. Because these people create the platform. These people create the content on social media. These people create the document. And if it's not accessible, and the person with disability cannot read that, cannot access that. So that's why we target to mainly non-disability. And we cannot avoid the center and the core of the activity is the participation of the person with disability themselves. And what I want to highlight is the person with disability as the users of the digital platform, as the consumer of the information, but also an actor. And the participation level of Indonesian disability usually at the end of the period when the platform already released. And it's also not of the many, it's just attending the launching and then said, we already involve people with disability. Well, actually what they do is just invite them to the launch and done, and nothing improved actually. So what we are trying to do is immerse the person with disability in the process using our activity and to the whole software development lifecycle and introduce the workflow systematic to the community themselves. And as explained before, Suara started in 2017. So we are progressing throughout the years and evolving. We start as a digital content writing training for the blind community, and then we discover about digital accessibility in 2017, directly after we do the trainings. Because it's not about the competency of the community to write, to create an article, but we discover the issue when they try to search some reading resource. They trap in the menu button, there's a pop-up that cannot be closed, and there are paragraphs that cannot be read, or the website itself cannot enable the keyboard navigations. So we discovered the problem, and we just realized that, oh, there's something called WCAG. We also just realized it in 2017. And we do some research and to the community, because I have a quiet friends in design and technology, and none of them can answer accessibility correctly. And the problem even worse that we didn't learn it at the university. So basically no one knows about accessibility. And then what we're trying to do is we create a video comparing between two applications with the competing application, which one is more accessible, this or that? And that kind of gets some tractions. At least it gets some traction for the team, although it's not really until to the decision makers. But the research team development have the initiative internally to explore more about digital accessibility. And they gave feedback to us that even though they want to create a study case, they cannot recreate a better video than the one that we created. So regardless the visual quality, the storytelling fits so much. But the problem with that methodology is every video needs a robust productions at least, and it needs to be the person with disability themselves demonstrating, and it's not scalable. But we already get the right story to deliver. And then in 2020, definitely after on the pandemic period, we create a accessibility community in Indonesia. actually, in the early years, we have idea to have this activation in the car-free days and invite people to do this and that, and then pandemic hits. So basically, everything goes online. So it's becoming a concept. And we have lots of idea, and the thing is, with lots of idea, it's need a lot of resource, not only people but also capitals. And this is why we finally submit to ICVICA and IPNIC foundations for those idea, and then thankfully we got it. So there are three key activities that are supported by the ICVICA and the IPNIC foundation. Is activations, collaborations, foster local talents and evangelists, and enable meaningful participation, with this I will explain later. And also we got a chance to be part of Open Government Indonesia in Open Government Partnership. So actually, in terms of transcendence, we do this one, but in terms of top-down, we involve in the national guideline and regulatory creations, which hopefully next year will be released as the Ministry of Communication and Informatics decree, hopefully. So this is one of the project that we have delivered. It's called Accessibility Empathy Lab Pop-Up Experience. So this is the large setting when we collaborate with two universities in Indonesia, one in Malang, East Java, and another one, BINUS International in Jakarta. So we involve like almost 300 people or more. And we have like 30 volunteers. Each volunteers engage in particular scenario. So because of accessibility and disability is such a robust topic, and it's too many to get at one time, so everyone just focus on one thing. And they try to deliver creative experience. So when you come to the table, you will explain a little bit about what is the certain challenge of this particular disability, and we will ask you to do some activities. So it's not only telling something, but doing activities. And there's a lot of them, like this one, if you see it, using keyboard that has been changed, all the keycaps. You need to write things here with the screen reader, but the keyboard will be closed, and later the document will be closed as well. And then this is Danny, he is blind, and he will also demonstrate that he can type correctly. So it's also like giving the witnessing that and breaking many stereotypes that blind people unable to interact with technology and such. And this one is like demonstrating how to use alt text in social media, and this one how to operate a website without any mouse or keyboard, and it's Top Thursday. This one is like playing PlayStations without seeing the screen. So you are playing PlayStations, the Last of Us game, without seeing the screen, just using the joystick. And the good things about this is since we collaborate with the university, and it's very supportive that they give the guest lecture, so we can reach up to 300 people at one event. And we also have a pop-up event in Urban Social Forum in Solo, Central Java. So this is some activity. It's smaller scale, so we deliver, or if the first one is like 50 scenario, this one only 10 scenario, but we also involve volunteers. So if you're interested, you can try this simulation class later outside in our booth. So we explain about there are spectrums in the blindness, and then we interact in how the blind people using technology, and try it on your own. I mean, everybody here have phones, right? You can open now, settings. Please do, open settings or system preference, and find accessibility. Anyone find it? So there's a lot of features, and it's assistive technology. And we're basically getting introduced that many assistive technology already in our hand, already in our computer. It's not something added. What you have to do is understand how the community use it and how we can contribute in making the digital ecosystem more inclusive. Yeah. And then we also have some infographic that you can read in terms of best practice and tips. And this is Bayu, he's blind, and this is the challenge of you have to write a song without seeing the keyboard. And we are not only on the setup of the booth, we are in the beach. So even we open on an event in the beach, and it's an Indonesia Opinion Festival. So basically we are bringing us some experience. Yeah, like you can see he using the glasses and try to type, and then playing PlayStations in the beach. So it's pretty fun. And this the latter is to foster local talent and evangelists, because you cannot advocate accessibility and say no one cannot build it, right? So we have to foster some talents locally, and we held the first accessibility bootcamp in Indonesia. Yeah, the duration is like 3 months with 20 sessions. It's hybrid, and it engaged with 40 people in 3 cities. So we collaborate. So this is in Jogja and another one in Malang. And this is the activity where Juita, she's also a blind person, she teach how people use a screen reader, and they bring like scarf to close their eyes. So they're like that. And this is the demo day in Apple Academy. So we also work together with Apple Academy for the demo day. So those two activity so far resulting it's up about 7 times, 5 cities. This is that the feedback that we got from our forum, but basically the people that has been engaged is more than 700 with 64 volunteers. And for the Ali Bootcamp, it's 40 participants, 3 cities. And this is our product designer, UX writers, developer, UX researchers, and also some stakeholders in the study case. We also still have some tool approach that we still unfinished yet. So we built a BI11Y, which is called Bali, like the Bali Islands. It's a crowdsourced accessibility reporting platform. So we want to engage more with the community instead of just creating a video like comparing before. The community can directly report any website, any application that is not accessible, and they will get some questions depend on their disability and their assistive technology. And those data we will gather and aggregate and and publish in the public. So it becoming a peer pressure for the company or the reported website to make it accessible. And they can also acknowledge those, so the community know whether their voice being heard, or the company or the organization have a plan to make the website or the app better. And also another one is design challenge. Because this is quite connected to each other, because sometimes when we deliver our surfacing problem, they will ask how to solve the problem. So we also engage people in terms of creating the solution in terms of design, but these two haven't been launched yet. So this is planned to be this year's. So to conclude, basically, it's still a work in progress, but hopefully we are setting up a good stepping stone, because previously digital accessibility almost never been heard in Indonesia. So every single person that involved in the process matter, from the volunteers to become evangelists, and then the expertise of a professional that becoming further speaker, further evangelist in the office, and all the knowledge of accessibility is basically point of no return. So if they already know about the technicalities, they cannot ignore it, so that they want to make sure it happens for the later website or apps. I think that's all. If you have any questions, or if you want to experience some of the empathy lab pop-up, we are available outside. We will wait for you. Thank you.